Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Adebanjo Faith Adeola and I film about faith, parenting and lifestyle from Lagos, Nigeria. In today's video, I will be talking about what Montessori toys are, the difference between Montessori toys and other toys, the characteristics of Montessori toys. I mean, what makes Montessori toys Montessori toys. So let's jump right into it. The first characteristic of Montessori toys is that they are simple. A lot of stuff that we give our children are so clumsy, so they carry so much information in one, and you know, our children are still young. These babies, these young ones are still growing up and they are learning a lot about their environment. So the toys that are advisable or good to give, that is good to give to them, or is advisable to give to them, should be toys that have simple basic properties of which they can absorb information easily from. If a toy is too complicated, then they would get confused. And what we want to do, or everything we introduce to our children, especially in the Montessori principle, are things they can relate with or they can apply later on as they grow up in real life activities. So this is an example of a toy that could be classified as simple. Now, this simple shape puzzle, in fact, there are puzzles that has just one shape. You know, the only information there is that it is red and it has one shape. It is blue and it has one shape, or it is yellow and it has one shape, which is the triangle. So keeping it simple is the real deal. The second characteristic of a Montessori toy is that they are open-ended. What do I mean by this? Example of this type of toys are the train set or even the building blocks. I have an example here. For example, now these toys, you could just simply build and stack it on each other. Now, in fact, the main thing about these toys is that it helps the children's creativity. These toys are not doing the entertaining for the child. Rather, the child has to think of what to do to create with this. With this kind of toys, the possibility or the chance of what they can create or come up with it are endless. In fact, it might even surprise you. Now, I'm going to be putting a video right here showing what my 8-month-old did with a shaped puzzle when I gave it to her and showed her how to use it ideally. So open-ended toys, not just this, we have there are toys that have limitless chances of what you can do with them, building blocks, a lot of them. So open-ended toy is another great Montessori toy that is advisable. Another characteristic of the Montessori toys over other toys is that they are not overstimulating. When children get bored really with toys that are overstimulating. Before we discovered Montessori, my husband brought this toy home, and it was, to me, it seemed like a great toy for my daughter to use. When you pull the end, and you put it on the floor, oh, it seems like the battery is dead, but it kind of flaps its wing and shines some light, you know, on the top and moves on its own when you pull this stuff. Now, the truth is that my daughter didn't do so much with this. She got easily bored with it and went for stuff like our slippers, our phones, the table, and real life things you wouldn't even want her to play with and you would not consider as a toy. So children really do not do well with toys that are overstimulating, such that they would just sit down and watch the toy entertain them. Rather, toys that they would have to work actively with, using their creativity, using their imaginations, are better. And that is one basic characteristic of a Montessori toy. A very important characteristic of a Montessori toy is that they are based in reality. Montessori, generally, the Montessori principle is actually a principle that helps the child to face reality as quick as possible. That is a basic Montessori principle that I have come to understand. So whatever it is that I do, whatever toy that I present to my child, I think about it. How can this help this girl? How can this toy help this girl in real life situations? Okay, now an example could be a book. Now, rather than buying in fact, a perfect example is this toy again. Now, I don't think in real life we have a flying horse. I've never seen one. The only places I've seen it are in cartoons or maybe in movies. So rather than giving this to her, I would rather give her a horse that looks more like a real horse, a cow that looks more like a real cow, and a rabbit that looks like a real rabbit, rather than this. So that's the point. Give them Montessori toys are actually toys that are based in reality. So whatever it is that we're introducing to them, including books, the books that we read to our children, do we have a talking horse, or a talking human being, or a talking boss? You know, the boss cannot talk, so why should the boss be talking in the book? Now, even if we expose our children to such unreal stories, we should actually make them understand that these things are not real. Whatever it is real, whatever is real, and whatever is not real is not real. And if they are too young to understand whether something is real or not, then you are advised, or it is just advisable, to just keep it to the reality things. I mean, keep the information real. Whatever information we're giving to our children, simple. Now, another point, another characteristic of a Montessori toy is that it enhances movement. Now, there are gadgets that we have, or we buy, that strap our children to just one point. You do not allow them the freedom of movement. Like I said in my other video, children need to move. We all actually need to move. Imagine if you are kept in one place, tied down, and you're not allowed to really stretch your legs. Or if you're traveling on a long distance journey, for example, you know how it feels to be cramped in one position. Now, our children might not feel exactly so, but they also feel restricted. And you know, these little ones, they want to move, they want to move around. So that was why I actually advised in my last video. If you've not seen that video, I talked about how to baby-proof your own home, giving example of how my own home is, making it safe as possible so that they can independently move around. So any toy that straps these ones down, that keeps them in one position and they cannot single-handedly or independently come out of it without any help from you, then cannot be classified, really, in my own opinion, as a Montessori toy. Okay, so Montessori toys help them to move. Now, the other day, this is what my daughter was doing with her chair, her wooden chair. She's just 10 months and she's still trying to move. I was still even considering, you know, getting her a stroller when she was already improvising with her chair and moving around with it, pushing it like this. So you see what I mean? There are stuffs, there are vehicles that have ropes, or stuff that has this rope that you could drag and all of that. So whatever it is that can enhance their movement, stuff that they could climb, and of course is safe and firm, of course, is something you would want to have in your own Montessori toy. The last characteristic I would like to make mention of here is that Montessori toys mostly are made of natural materials. Now, I personally do not adopt 100% of Montessori philosophy in my home, as number one, I'm still learning a lot about it, and secondly, I'm trying to see the one that works best for us, so that it won't be like we are tying ourselves in a kind of cage. Nobody is caging anybody. But Montessori toys mostly is made of natural materials. Natural materials include wood, glass, and metal. Now, when you feel, for example, when you feel this is a wooden block and this is plastic, or let's say this one is not colored and this is a colored wooden block. Now, even the feel of this wooden block in the hand feels more real. It feels natural. It feels more comfortable in the hand than this plastic. And of course, children like to put things in their mouth a lot. Even the taste of a plastic just tastes so artificial in the mouth compared to having a wood or glass, for example, or metal in their mouth. Now, I know what is in your mind is that these things we are talking about, wood is too hard, metal, oh my god, to just break their teeth, or they can get injured with glass. But really, if you think about it, no. I would have argued also, but I tried and used it with my own daughter. Right now, she eats with the ceramic plate and drinks water in a glass cup most of the time, except when we are in motion, or just for convenience sake we use this baby bottle. Now, she hasn't broken any. You know why? Because I am always there supervising her, and I believe she would grow into using these things, and she will grow to learn that these things are handled with care. But if you introduce plastics, for example, to your children from little, when they are banging it, for instance, on the table or on the floor, you might not really mind for most part of it, because it is plastic and you are sure it will not break. But if it were to be a ceramic plate, for instance, or a glass cup, you would immediately, of course, gently stop them and correct them. And over time, when you do that like maybe 60 times, because children, they want you to do it over and over again, when you correct them like that, they get to know, they grow up. They are not stupid, really. They know that this thing has to be handled yes, with care. And from my first video, I said that children grow up to learn to respect even their environment when you train them up the Montessori. So there we have it, the difference between Montessori toys, or the characteristic of Montessori toys compared with other kind of toys. So I hope after watching this video, you are now more informed, and you would be more conscious when you go and purchase a particular toy for your child. So in my next video, I will be talking about how to actually arrange these Montessori toys, or your toys, in such a way that they would be orderly, and your child don't have to be pulling out a lot of toys from a huge heap or a large bin or bag of toys and scattering everywhere with it just because they want to get to one of their favorite toy. So in my next, please do well to check that out, and check if this is the first time you're hearing the word Montessori, or you just want to know more about the Montessori principles. You want to check out a few of my videos, what is Montessori, benefits, and the likes. I'll be leaving them in the description box below, just so that you would have a broader idea of what Montessori is. If you are really enjoying the content I created, or I just put out in this video, please do well to press the like button. And then if you are interested in learning more about Montessori, you also want to hit that subscribe button, because I will be uploading at least one video every single week. Thanks for watching, and see you in my next video. Bye.